All right. So in this lesson, we're going to be talking all about multiplying polynomials. So this isn't something that's really new. We've done this before, but we're going to add a little to it. So first off, let's just kind of review what we're doing here. So if I have a binomial times another binomial, remember you want to take this first position in the first binomial and take it times both positions in the second binomial. And then same thing with the 2 times everything over here. So I'm going to start with the x. So I have x times x is x to the second. Remember, we add those exponents. So I have 1 here and 1 here. That makes 2. X times 5 is 5x. 2 times x is 2x. And 2 times 5 is 10. And then, it's just like you did when you added and subtracted. You want to put them in order, and you also want to combine your like terms at the same time. So our degrees here would be 2, 1, 1, and 0. So I'm going to start with my degree of 2. Then I notice I have a 5x and a 2x, so I can add those together to make 7x. And then I have my plus 10. So on number 2, same thing. I'm going to take this first number times both numbers in the other parentheses. So x times x is x to the second. X times negative 4 is negative 4x. 3 times x is 3x. And 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. And then I'll do the same thing. So I have a degree of 2, a degree of 1, a degree of 1, a degree of 0. And these two are like terms. So I'll start with my x squared. I don't have anything to combine with that. And then a negative 4x plus 3x is going to give me a negative x. And then I have the minus 12 at the back. So a couple more just to kind of review ourselves. So we have x times x is x squared. X times negative 6 is negative 6x. Then we'll take that negative 4 times both of those. So negative 4 times x is negative 4x. And negative 4 times negative 6 is positive 24. Again, degrees of 2, 1, 1, and 0. So I start with the x squared. Then I combine my like terms. Negative 6x and negative 4x make negative 10x. And then plus the 24 at the back. All right, number 4, same thing. So we're going to take 2x times 3x. Just remember you need to take the numbers in the front times each other. So 2 times 3 gives you 6. And then x times x is x squared. 2x times negative 5 is negative 10x. 1 times 3x is 3x. And 1 times negative 5 is negative 5. Same thing, degree of 2, 1, 1, and 0. So I'll start with the 6x squared. Negative 10x and the 3x will make negative 7x. And then minus 5. Now when you do a binomial and a trinomial, it still remains the same. You still want to take that x and multiply it times all 3 of the terms that are back here in this parenthesis, and then the 5 times all 3 of those terms. So I'm going to take x times x squared. That would give me x to the third. Don't forget, that has an exponent, 1 right there. X times negative 3x is negative 3x to the second. And x times negative 2 is negative 2x. All right, then I do the same thing with the 5. 5 times x squared is 5x squared. 5 times negative 3x is negative 15x. and 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. You want to make sure that you're really careful because if you rush through that and then you get these wrong, then your answer is going to be wrong. You're going to have to go back and do all of it over again. So now I'm going to state my degrees. I have 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 0. So my biggest degree is 3. I don't have any others, so just x to the third. And then I have 2 that have a degree of 2. They are like terms, so I have negative 3x squared plus 5x squared is 2x squared. Then I have 2 that are a degree of 1, and they are like terms, so negative 2x and negative 15x make negative 17x. And then the last thing I have is the minus 10. All right, so we'll do the same thing here. We're going to take this x times all 3 in the next set of parentheses, and then the negative 3 times all 3. So x times x squared is x to the third. X times negative 4x is negative 4x squared. X times negative 4 is negative 4x. And then we're going to do the same exact thing with our negative 3. So negative 3 times x squared is negative 3x squared. Negative 3 times negative 4x is positive 12x. And negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12. So for my degrees, I have a 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 0. So I'll start with x to the third. No matches for that. I have 2 degrees too, and they are like terms. So negative 4x squared and negative 3x squared make negative 7x squared. I have 2 degrees of 1, and they are like terms. So negative 4x and positive 12x, which give me positive 8x. And then lastly, we have our plus 12 at the back. All right, so this purple piece of stained glass has a trapezoidal shape. Looks like a trapezoid, right? We're supposed to write a polynomial that represents the area of the piece of glass. So we'll start with that. Now, I did give you the formula for area. It is 1/2 times your height, which they told you right here, this is your height from top to bottom, is x minus 1. So that's our height. And then you have another parenthesis here. Now, I had to put parentheses here because there was 2 terms inside of that. All right, and then you're going to take your first base and add it to your second base. So base 1, 3x minus 6, plus the other base, which is x. So from here, it's just going to be a bunch of simplifying. So first thing, I'm going to simplify inside this because I see that I have some like terms there. So I'm going to leave everything else the same. But I need to put together my 3x and my 1x. That's going to give me 4x, and then I have that minus 6. Now, I am going to start working this out by multiplying these 2 parentheses right here. So the 1/2 is just going to kind of chill out front while I work with the parentheses. So I have x times 4x is 4x squared. Make sure you put that in parentheses so that you know you're still multiplying here. And then x times negative 6 is negative 6x. Then we have negative 1 times 4x is negative 4x. And negative 1 times negative 6 is positive 6. And then we'll go ahead and combine our like terms and put this in order. So we have a degree of 2, 1, 1, and 0. So we've got our 4x squared. Negative 6x and negative 4x will make negative 10x. and then we have that plus 6 at the back. So now all that's left to do is to multiply that 1/2 throughout my parentheses. So I have 1/2 times 4x squared. You're just essentially taking half of it. Half of 4x squared would be 2x squared. And half of negative 10x would be negative 5x. And half of 6 is 3. So there's the answer to part A. There's your formula for the area of this trapezoid. All right, part B says, find the area of a piece of glass when the shorter base is 7. Okay, this is the shorter base, yes? So they're asking you to plug 7 in for your x value. So I have 2 times 7 squared minus 5 times 7 plus 3. So we get 66 is the area, and we're in inches. So we would say inches squared to represent area. Now, something that people always forget when you have a binomial squared. I mean, this happens all the time. I can't tell you how many times I run across this. People want to take this number and raise it to the second power, and they want to take the 4 and raise it to the second power and come up with 9x squared plus 16. But you can't do that. Okay, you can do that if you have like 3x squared y, and there's no plus or minus sign here. But the second you have a plus or a minus sign, you can't just take each one separately. All right. The reason for that is because when I square something, that means that it's that something times itself. Well, if I take 3x plus 4, then I have to take it times 3x plus 4 in order to get what 3x plus 4 squared is. So now that I've got it set up, all I have to do is multiply together. So 3x times 3x. 3 times 3 is 9, and x times x is x squared. 3x times 4 is 12x. 4 times 3x is 12x. And 4 times 4 is 16. So I have a degree of 2, 1, 1, and 0. Start with my degree of 2. I don't have anything to pair that with, so I'll just drop that down. 12x and 12x add together to make 24x. And then you have your plus 16. All right, so something that's going to be a little bit new to us is on number 9. We have 2 different variables, so you're going to have to be really careful on this one. So it's 5x minus 2y squared. So I'm going to take 5x minus 2y times 5x minus 2y. Now these are not difficult, but they can get a little finicky if you're not paying attention. So you're still going to multiply them the same way. So I take the 5x times the 5x, and I get 5 times 5 is 25, and x times x is x to the second. Then I have to take the 5x times the negative 2y. So 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. But then you have an x and you have a y. Well, I can't just add their exponents because they're different variables, so you're literally just going to say x, y. All right, I'm just going to shove them together, kind of. Then I'm going to do the negative 2y times 5x. By the way, I always write them in alphabetical order. So when I multiply this together and I do the negative 2 times the 5 is negative 10. And then I have a y times an x. I'm still going to write it as x, y, because I'm going to keep it in alphabetical order. And then I have negative 2y times negative 2y. That would be a positive 4 y to the second. Now, if you look at your degrees, you have a degree of 2. And then if you add your exponents together here, a 1, and a 1. That makes a degree of 2. 1 and a 1, that's a degree of 2. This is a degree of 2. They're all a degree of 2, right? So it doesn't matter what order I'm in for them to be in degree order, but I want you to put them in alphabetical order. So the very first one you should do is anything that's just an x. So like this is a y. This is x and y combined. This is an x squared. So I'm going to do this one first. All right? Then I don't have anything else that has just an x, right? So now I'll do my combination ones. Now, these two are like terms because I have x to the first, y to the first, x to the first, y to the first behind my coefficient. So I'm just going to put them together. Negative 10 and negative 10 make negative 20 x, y. And then I've done all the ones that are x and y combined. Now I'll do the y. So 4y squared. Just keep them in alphabetical order. So if you have just an x, that goes first. If you have a mixture, that goes second. And anything with a y goes last, as long as they are the same degree. All right, so we have two binomials here. We've got 3x times 3x. That would give me 9x squared. Then we have a 3x times negative 1. So I have 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. And then I have an x and a y. So x times y. Then I have a 1y times a 3x. So 1 times 3 is 3. And then I have a y times an x, but I'm going to list them in alphabetical order. And then a positive y times a negative y is a negative y to the second. So again, these all have a degree of 2, right? 2, 2, 2, 2. So I'm going to start with anything that's just the x. So 9x squared. Then if you look at your xy term and your xy term that are like terms, one's a negative 3, one's a positive 3. So these end up just canceling each other out. And then I have my minus y squared there at the back. All right, number 11. T times t is t squared. T times negative 5 is negative 5t. 5 times t is positive 5t. And 5 times negative 5 is negative 25. So I have a degree of 2, 1, 1, and 0. So I'll start with my t squared. The 5t and the negative 5t are going to cancel out. And then I just have my minus 25. So both of these are similar in the fact that, did you notice, they were exactly the same in the parentheses, but the only difference was one had a plus and one had a minus. Anytime that happens, you're going to end up canceling your middles because they'll be exactly the same, only the opposite sign. So number 12, we have x times x is x squared. X times negative 3y, so a 1 times a negative 3 is negative 3. And then you have your x times your y. We have 3y times x, so 3 times 1 is 3. And x times y is just x times y. And then positive 3y times negative 3y, 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. And then y squared. So again, degrees of 2, we're going to start with the one that's just the x, so x squared. These two are the same exact thing, only opposite signs, so they cancel. And then we have the minus 9y squared. So 13, we have 3m plus n squared. So I know that that is 3m plus n times 3m plus n. So I take 3m times 3m. 3 times 3 is 9, and m times m is m squared. 3m times 1n, 3 times 1 is 3. M times n is mn. Then I'll do my n. N times 3m. 1 times 3 is 3. And then n times m is mn. n times n is n squared. So again, all degrees of 2, I'm going to start with m, just an m, because I know that that is in alphabetical order. Then I have 3mn and another 3mn, which makes 6mn, and then my plus n squared. I also want to point out that when you square something, you always double the middle, right? You have 2 of those. All right, so I'm going to introduce you to a new kind of notation. All right? If I have f and g, two separate functions, right? So here's this is a trinomial, here's another trinomial. This one is my f of x, and this is my g of x. I have this notation that if I say f plus g of x, this does not mean multiply, it's of x, just like f of x. This is just telling me to take whatever the f function is and add that to whatever the g function is. Or take the f and subtract g. So whatever f of x is minus whatever g of x is. Or f times g, whatever f is times whatever g is. So it's not new information, it's just a different notation, right? So if you look at number 14, this is like saying take f of x and add that to g of x. Now when we add two things, we don't need parentheses. So f of x is 3x squared plus 5x minus 2. And I am adding that to g of x, and g of x is x squared minus 4x plus 6. Now, all I'm doing is exactly what I did when we learned to add them together. I've got a degree of 2, 1, 0, 2, 1, 0. So I'm going to combine anything that's a like term. So I have 3x squared and a 1x squared, which makes 4x squared. My degrees of 1, 5x, and negative 4x, which make a 1x, but we're not going to write the 1. And a negative 2 and a positive 6, which make 4. All right, this one is saying, let's take whatever f of x is and subtract whatever g of x is. I don't need parentheses here, but I am going to need them behind this minus sign. All right, so I can write down the first one, which is 3x squared plus 5x minus 2. And I'm subtracting, and then I need to put a parenthesis because I'm subtracting this entire function, which is x squared minus 4x plus 6. We can't just subtract the first term. We have to subtract all three terms. So I'm going to have to distribute that negative that's in front there, just like we did with our regular subtraction problems. So negative 1 times x squared is negative x squared. Negative 1 times negative 4x is positive 4x. And negative 1 times 6 is negative 6. Then I do the whole process. Degree of 2, 1, 0, 2, 1, 0. 3x squared minus 1x squared is 2x squared. 5x plus 4x is 9x. And negative 2 and negative 6 make negative 8. So now this just means we're going to take f of x and we're going to multiply g of x, right? So put those in parentheses. We've got f of x, which is x minus 4, times g of x, which is 2x squared plus x minus 3. And now it's just a regular multiplication problem. So x times 2x squared is 2x to the third. X times x is x squared. And x times negative 3 is negative 3x. Then we have negative 4 times 2x squared is negative 8x squared. Negative 4 times x is negative 4x. And negative 4 times negative 3 is positive 12. So now I will put them in order and combine like terms. So I have a degree of 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 0. So I only have this 1x cubed there, so 2x cubed. Then for my degrees of 2, I look, and those are like terms. So 1x squared and a negative 8x squared make negative 7x squared. Then I have my degrees of 1, and they are like terms as well. So negative 3x and negative 4x make negative 7x. And then last but not least, the plus 12. So on the last one, again, this is f of x times g of x. So I'm going to take f, which is x plus 7, and make sure that I put that in parentheses, times g of x, which is 3x squared minus x plus 2. And I multiply them. So x times 3x squared is 3x to the third. X times negative x is negative x squared. And x times 2 is 2x. 7 times 3x is 21x squared. 7 times negative x is negative 7x. And 7 times 2 is 14. Then I'm going to establish what my degrees are. 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 0. Combine like terms, put them in order. So I start with the 3x to the third, negative x squared, and a positive 21x squared make positive 20x squared. 2x and negative 7x make negative 5x. And then we have our 14.